How's it going, everybody? It is Superspan here. Today, I just wanted to give a more in-depth update on the Chicago Bulls 2022 offseason so far. There hasn't been a whole lot of crazy moves that they've made, but we will get into some of the moves, such as Zach LaVine, Kobe White, a little bit of Nikola Vucevic moves, and just some of the free agent signings we made. So, hope you guys enjoy. So, first things first, I wanted to talk about Zach LaVine re-signing with the max contract. I was very relieved when they finally announced that they did re-sign him. It didn't seem very certain for a minute there. I know as soon as the season ended, there was a lot of people saying that he might go to San Antonio. I heard some murmurs about going to the Lakers potentially, which, I mean, let's face it, anytime there's a star that's either going to be a free agent or requests a trade, the Lakers are one of the first names to be brought up anyway. So take that with a grain of salt. Suck it, Lakers fans. We got Zach back. That was very important. 26 points per game. He is getting better every year. I mean, he's not the best on defense, but I mean, honestly, he is getting better. And with the additions of Goran Dragic, we got Andre Drummond, and then we got Dalen Terry out of the draft. And he is looking great to me so far. The first game of the Summer League, his passing skills were on point. That's another thing. We got, Marko Simonovic looked fantastic. But I really want to focus on Dalen Terry right now. His passing looked great. His defense looked good. I don't really think he scored too much. But honestly, I don't really think we need him to score. If he can shoot the three, that's one thing. But we don't need him to be a number 1, 2, 3, 4 option, whatever. We don't need him to do that. We just need him to be what he was known for, which mostly is an irritant. I've talked about this before. He's 6'7" with a 7'1" wingspan, which is fantastic. Next thing I really want to talk about is why I think we should keep Nikola Vucevic. This more so stems from the fact that the Nets are going to be asking for an absurd asking price for Kevin Durant. I personally am very hesitant for a number of reasons. Number one, I'm not really worried about his injury history. I mean, I kind of am, but not really. That's not one of the main reasons. I'm more so worried about, would he even want to stay with the Bulls if we don't win a championship the first year or the second year? You know what I mean? We would have to give up Vooch, I would think. We would also have to give up Patrick Williams. And then they also want another star player on top of that. So it's either Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan. Now, with a package that would just include, ideally on our end, DeMar DeRozan or Nikola Vucevic, or DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic, I would accept. But I mean, let's face it, they're not going to take that. They're going to want, if they had it their way, they're going to want DeMar at least, Vooch, Patrick Williams, and then a slew of picks that we don't even really have. So, I mean, I know the talks about Kevin Durant possibly going to the Bulls has died down significantly, but I mean, for those of you that are still possibly hanging on to the possibility, I would just give it a rest. I don't think that, number one, that the Bulls are going to get Kevin Durant, and I don't think it would be smart for us to get Kevin Durant given what we would have to give up. We would have to give up much more than it's worth. And you know what? Let's say Patrick Williams does become a star, this year, next year, or the year after, and we get Kevin Durant, but then he leaves. He requests a trade or whatever, and then you got Patrick Williams on Brooklyn or wherever he would end up. flourishing. That would really suck. I don't want to see another like Jimmy Butler situation where, years down the road we're like, oh, well, what could have been? We could have had Jimmy Butler. We could have made it to the finals. We could have built around him. But they ended up trading him. I don't want to see that happening because I'm really excited for this team. One of my favorite players is Lonzo Ball. And that's another thing. I think people need to calm down about him. I'm, hearing a lot of people saying, "Oh, is Goran Dragic going to be his replacement for the year? Is Dalen Terry going to be his replacement? Is Kobe White or Caruso, whoever?" I know Zoe will probably be out for a little bit to start the year, but he's a great player. I think at some point the injuries are going to calm down for him. But if there's anything that I want to really emphasize to Bulls fans, it's that we need Lonzo Ball. It's not a matter of like, oh, well, if he doesn't play, we'll be fine. No, if he plays, and he plays at least at the very minimum how he played last year, which I assure you he will get better, then we are a legitimate contender in the Eastern Conference because, think about it. Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, P. Will, and Vooch. That's a solid lineup right there. And Vooch is a solid player, man. He's not even just a solid player. He's a good player. He averaged a double-double again last season. Yeah, his numbers went down, but what do you expect when you've got Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan on your team? He's not going to be a first or second option. That's not what we need him for. We need him for rebounding and scoring in the post. And maybe the occasional three if I'm feeling nice. I don't really like his three-point shooting, but if he can make them and he's wide open, great. But I noticed a lot of the threes he was taking were kind of like off the dribble and with a defender in his face. It's like, dude, I know that you might be able to make that, but stop it, But I love Vooch, man. I think he's a great post player. I think he's a great rebounder. And I think we should keep him because, what else are we going to get, Andre Drummond is a solid backup, but if we were to get rid of Vooch and not get an adequate replacement, we're kind of screwed there if we have Andre Drummond as our starting center all year. No disrespect to Drummond, but we got him obviously to be a backup. We didn't get him to be a replacement for Vooch. Next thing I kind of wanted to talk about, I already mentioned a little bit, the two additions we made, Andre Drummond and Goran Dragic. I think Goran was a great pickup. I think both of them were great pickups. Very underrated moves. They bring veteran presence. I feel like Goran Dragic is one of those guys that really helps your team in more ways than one. He can bring scoring off the bench. He can even be a starter while Zoe is gone. And he's a solid player. He's a good player. Like I said, Andre Drummond is solid. I've always liked him. I've loved his rebounding. His defense could use some work, but hopefully P. Will, Caruso, Zoe, all of our defensive guys can stay healthy, and I think they'll help out a lot. Next thing I really wanted to talk about was Lakers. There were sort of some rumors about them potentially trading for Kobe White. I don't think that would be a good choice or a good option, a good team to trade him to, because come on, what are we gonna get from the Lakers at this point? We're not gonna get Anthony Davis, we're not gonna get LeBron, for Kobe White. At best, we probably get Taylor Horton Tucker and I don't know, their ball boy or something. If you're gonna trade Kobe White, I would say, if you find a decent package, maybe trade him and somebody else for like a shooter or something. I know he can score. I know technically he is solid at shooting, but I kind of feel like if we need to take a next step, we need to get like a real knockdown shooter similar to like Duncan Robinson or Joe Ingles or hell, even Max Strus on the Heat, who we had for a little bit there, but then he tore his ACL and the Bulls, missed that one. And finally, I really wanted to. This is sort of like a personal thing. I mean, I know a lot of Bulls fans love D Rose, but obviously I love D Rose too. But I've seen so many articles the last few years, or what? He's been gone for like 6 years. Ever since they traded him, I've seen articles like, "Oh, this offseason the Bulls could re-sign Derrick Rose. This offseason the Bulls could trade for Derrick Rose." I'm going to go ahead and just tell y'all to stop because it is heartbreaking, man. Like, getting my hopes up every offseason when you see that one little article by Fansided or that one article by whoever, NBC Sports or whoever it may be, that, oh, the Bulls should trade for Derrick Rose. Stop it. If it happens, then that's awesome. I would love to have him back. And I'm not just saying that because I'm like his biggest fan. And I'm saying that mostly because, well, one, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of because I'm his biggest fan. But if I'm being serious, I think that he is still a really good scorer, especially off the bench. He's not going to be a starting point guard. He's not an all-star Derrick Rose, but he's still a great option off the bench. And he's starting to learn how to mentor his teammates. He's talking more. He's become more of a leader. And, man, I mean, that would just be awesome. How motivating would it be not only to us, but to the other players on the team to see such a prominent figure in Bulls history come back, see the reaction of the crowd and everything. I mean, they see it every time we play against a Derrick Rose team. That'd be awesome to have him back, but I really, really I hate seeing articles saying that the Bulls could trade for him or whatever. But, yeah, guys, that's all I really wanted to talk about. Just a little recap. Don't trade for Kevin Durant unless unless it makes sense. Don't get rid of Vooch unless it makes sense. Don't trade him for Robin Lopez or whoever. And yeah, I mean, just let's be positive about Zoe, man. We're Bulls fans first and foremost. Zoe is a great player. We saw what he could do when he played for us. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.